This is the Adoration of Silicon Roundabout in Old Street, and it began life as a series of street sketches that I made at Old Street Roundabout. I wanted to make a painting about Old Street Roundabout because it's this place that we hear a lot about at the moment, this technology hub of London, and you've got all these giant technology companies on the roundabout. But while I was there, I had a very interesting chance meeting, as I often do when I'm out drawing in the street, with this man here, who was an Irish immigrant from the 1950s. He'd emigrated over from Ireland, and he told me the whole story of his life, and it was a really fascinating life that he lived. But he also, at the end of our conversation, after a couple of hours, he brought out some letters that had been unopened that his mother had kept. She'd passed away, but he'd received these letters recently, still unopened. And he'd also received letters that he'd written to her that were unopened. So there was a great mystery as to why this had happened. He didn't elaborate, but it was a very emotional moment, and he was very teary-eyed as he told me this story. And I thought, when I went back to the studio afterwards and I looked at my sketches and I began to work on the painting, I thought about these two types of communication that were existing side by side, this ancient form of letter writing, this sensual communication of being able to hear someone's voice or almost picture them through their handwriting, as compared to these satellite companies and the instant technology that we use to communicate with today. And those two existing side by side was what this painting became about, really, in this chaotic silicon roundabout. And it really is the passing show of life that I was seeing that day. People coming back from work, there's a gentleman taking his newspaper from the newspaper stand, schoolboys, schoolgirl, and then the end result of perhaps overusing all this technology being this sign here saying bad back, stiff neck, and it just seemed to sort of show us really how we live our lives in this busy metropolis of ours, in this exciting area, Silicon Roundabout, Old Street.